The interviewer leans forward, pen poised, ready to capture something profound. "Do you have hobbies?" he asks, expecting the usual rock star answer: guitars, motorcycles, collecting vinyl. Freddie Mercury doesn't even blink. "I have a lot of sex," he says flatly. The room goes silent. The interviewer's pen freezes midair. Somewhere in the back, a producer coughs nervously. But Freddie just sits there, completely unbothered, waiting for the next question with the expression of someone who's just commented on the weather. This is 1976, and Freddie Mercury is done pretending to be anything other than exactly who he is. This is the story of a man who spent his entire childhood hiding his background, hiding his teeth, hiding his true self, and who decided, somewhere along the way to fame, that hiding was the one thing he would never do again. The interviews started when Queen was nobody, when journalists would show up to small venues with tape recorders and low expectations, asking the same tired questions they asked every struggling band. What makes you different? What's your sound? Where do you see yourselves in 5 years? In the early days, Freddie played the game. He gave polite answers, smiled carefully to hide his teeth, spoke about the music in vague, inoffensive terms. The band needed press. They needed any coverage they could get. So Freddie performed the role of acceptable rock star, giving interviewers exactly what they wanted. But something shifted after Bohemian Rhapsody. Suddenly, Queen wasn't begging for interviews. Journalists were begging for Queen. And Freddie Mercury, who'd spent years being grateful for any attention, discovered something liberating. He didn't need to perform for these people anymore. He could just be himself. And if they didn't like it, there were 100 other journalists waiting in line. The transformation was startling to people who'd interviewed him in the early years. The polite, careful Freddie disappeared. In his place emerged someone who said exactly what he thought: consequences be damned. "Can you safely stay in one place?" an interviewer asks, trying to categorize Queen's sound. "Can you stay in one bag today and be safe?" "No," Freddie says immediately. "That's one of the things people can't do with us, put us into one category. We've got so many ingredients that make up Queen. You can't put your finger on it, really." The interviewer presses. "Is this the future of where rock is going? Are you predicting something?" Freddie's answer is beautifully simple. "I'm just me when I'm on stage. I'm not laying down any message or predicting anything. I'm just having fun and trying to put across our music, which is Queen. It's rock and roll. Just me." 2 words that would define everything Freddie Mercury became. By the time A Night at the Opera exploded onto charts worldwide, the interviews became battlegrounds of authenticity versus expectation. Journalists wanted deep meaning, cosmic significance, profound artistic statements. Freddie gave them brutal honesty instead. Someone asks about the word Beelzebub in Bohemian Rhapsody. There's a letter from a fan who studies demonology, wondering why Queen used satanic imagery. Freddie's answer destroys the pretense completely. "It's just a word. Why do we use anything? I don't study demonology. I just love the word. Great word, isn't it? No mystique. No manufactured controversy. Just a songwriter who liked how a word sounded." This was revolutionary. Rock stars in the 70s were supposed to be enigmatic, mysterious, impossible to pin down. They were supposed to speak in riddles and let their music do the talking. But Freddie Mercury refused to play that game. The Japan tours brought new questions. The hysteria was unprecedented: bodyguards, laundry lifts, fans so obsessive that Queen couldn't leave their hotels. "What was it like?" interviewers ask breathlessly, expecting tales of glamour and excitement. "We were reduced to traveling in laundry lifts," Freddie says. "The price of fame." There's no complaint in his voice, no self-pity, just a matter-of-fact acknowledgement of reality. When asked about Munich, where Queen had been recording, the interviewer clearly wants something profound about artistic inspiration, about how German culture influenced their sound. "Have you learned a lot?" the interviewer asks carefully. "All I know is the swear words," Freddie says, like "leck mich am Arsch," that means lick my ass. "That's all I've learned. I don't really speak German." The interviewer tries to move on quickly, but Freddie's point is made. He's not going to manufacture significance where none exists. But the most revealing interviews happened later, when Freddie had fully embraced his power to control the narrative. By the 80s, he'd stopped caring what anyone thought. Not in an arrogant way, but in the way of someone who'd finally accepted himself completely. Haven't you done any interviews in the past few years? An interviewer asks. I hate them, Freddie says simply. Why? I just hate talking to people I don't really know. They don't know the real me, and I don't think anybody will. It's a startling admission. Here's one of the most famous performers on earth, someone who commands stadiums of 100,000 people, admitting that underneath all the performance, there's a private person nobody truly knows. The interviewer tries another angle. Are you very rich? Oh, I'm extremely rich. Do you like being rich? Of course. What do you do with your money? I flaunt it. Another interviewer, another variation. What do you do with your money? I spend it. No apologies. No pretending money doesn't matter. Just honest acknowledgement that yes, he's wealthy, yes, he enjoys it, and no, he's not going to feel guilty about it. When asked about the other members of Queen, Freddie's honesty becomes almost brutal. You said the other guys have houses in LA. I assume you mean the other members of Queen. Who do you think I mean? What are their names again? Stop that. I sometimes forget them too. The interviewer pushes, but you don't really hang out with them, do you? They have very different characters. They like different things. I like to go to ballet and opera. They just keep going to rock and roll shows. Why do you think you've managed to stay together for all these years? Freddie's answer is characteristically blunt. Money, darling. Then he softens, just slightly. No. I think underneath it all, we kind of like each other and we like the music we make. That's basically it. If we didn't like the music we were making, we'd say goodbye to each other. There's nothing else left. It's the most honest assessment of a band dynamic ever given in an interview. No pretense of being best friends, no manufactured brotherhood, just four people who respect each other's talent and enjoy creating together. Someone brings up Bruce Springsteen, who famously said he was married to rock and roll. It sounds like the commitment you guys have, the interviewer suggests. Freddie's response is immediate. No, I'm not married to music. I'm married to love. The interviewer seems confused. Do you have time for that in this kind of schedule? I might not have time for it, but I'm not married to music. That's my work. It's my job. I get up every day. It might not be 9 to 5, but it's my job. I see music as something I earn my living from. Are you a romantic at all? Yeah, I'm a total romantic. I marry people. It's a perfect encapsulation of who Freddie Mercury was. Someone who refused to let his work define his entire existence, who understood that performance was performance and life was something else entirely. The interviews about songwriting revealed perhaps the most interesting contradictions. Someone asks about the shift in who writes what for Queen, noting that Freddie used to dominate the albums. Is it intentional that you're deliberately trying to give the others more space? That's very true, Freddie admits. People think I just hog everything, but it's not true. Every album we pick the best songs. If I have 5 songs that are better than one of Roger's songs, I'll say we won't use his. I remember Roger wrote 3 or 4 songs, and some weren't good enough. I told him to go back and write better ones. Doesn't that cause tension? In a funny way, it makes them write better songs. Roger came back with Radio Gaga, and it was perfect. Wonderful, so I do encourage them. I'm not trying to hog a Queen album, but I won't accept mediocrity either. It's leadership disguised as collaboration. Freddie understood that being kind sometimes meant being honest, even when honesty hurt. The most revealing interview moments came when people asked about message songs, about political content, about using his platform for social change. I don't like to write message songs, Freddie says. I'm not politically oriented. I'm not like John Lennon or Stevie Wonder. My songs are basically commercial love songs. I like to put my emotional talents into that. I don't want to change the world. I don't want to talk about peace or political content because I'm just not motivated that way. The interviewer seems disappointed, but Freddie continues. You have to be motivated that way. It's not right for me to just wake up and say, I want to write a peace song if I don't truly believe it. Those things you have to actually believe in. I'm not saying I don't believe in peace, I just don't feel capable of writing peace messages because I'm not in that environment. I don't want to put myself in that environment. What do you write about then? Love and emotion. I write about what I feel strongly about. My solo album is filled with that in various different attitudes and ways. That's as far as I want to go. Why not be more like John Lennon? I'm not John Lennon, who will act out his emotions apart from writing songs, who will sleep in bags for peace or whatever. For me to write a peace message would be wrong because people wouldn't relate. They'd say, Freddie Mercury suddenly wants to write about peace? You have to have a history of allowing people to accept that you believe in what you're writing about. As far as I'm concerned, I hope people believe I go through torture and pain in terms of love. That's all I want to write about. It comes easy for me. That's my natural gift. It's the most honest artistic statement ever given. No pretense of being deeper than he was. No apology for not being political. Just a clear-eyed understanding of his own strengths and limitations. The interview stopped in 1991 when Freddie Mercury died. But what remains is a masterclass in authenticity. In an era when rock stars were supposed to be mysterious and profound, Freddie was direct and honest. When others manufactured depth, he acknowledged simplicity. When the world wanted him to be someone else, he insisted on being exactly himself. I'm just me when I'm on stage, he'd said years earlier. I'm just me. Those words, spoken casually in a forgotten interview, became his legacy. Not the costumes, not the theatrics, not the spectacle, just a man who refused to hide anymore. The boy from Zanzibar who'd spent his childhood being sent away, being different, being alone, had finally found the one thing that set him free, the courage to stop pretending. And the world loved him for it.